you know, Miss Picky over here notices the little things. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a first impressions and review on some Stardustworkx HTV. So they were actually nice enough to send over some of their stuff. So they sent me a whole bunch of HTV, and they also sent over some of their regular adhesive vinyl. But for this video, we're just going to be focusing on the HTV. And even though they were nice enough to send all of this over to me, as always, I'm going to always keep it real with you. So this review is going to be 100% honest. How I feel is what I'm going to say. If I like it, I'm going to say. If I don't like it, I'm going to say that as well. So this is my personal experience with this brand. And now to start off, each of these came in this packet right here, which I really like because it keeps it organized and has a little barcode with the type of HTV that it is, and then like a little instruction guide, which I thought was helpful because they tell you how to cut, what like cut settings to use, what temperature to use, whether to peel it cold or hot. So I like that it came with that. So I believe all of their HTVs come in 10 by 12 inch sheets, so that's exactly how these are right here. So this one in particular is a 12 pack. Most of them are a 12 pack except some like opal holographics that came. And apart from them sending me 6 different types of HTVs, they also sent over a few extras, which I thought was really nice. So shout out to Stardustworkx for hooking me up. And now back to the review. If you're interested to hear my thoughts on the Stardustworkx HTV, then let's get started. To start off, let me show you all the HTVs that were sent over. So to start off, we have this leopard print right here. So these are 12 sheets and it's 6 different prints. So I'm just gonna show them really quick. So we have that brown leopard, then we have like a gray leopard, then a bigger gray leopard, a big brown leopard, a small gray leopard, and then a brown small leopard. So these are 10 by 12 sheets. Next up, we have these reflective glitters, and these come in different colors. So as you can see, I'm just gonna show them really quick, just all the different options. And these are 12 sheets as well. So it's just pretty much the rainbow with colorful one, and then towards the end, you're gonna see that there's a glittery leopard. You see? Like how pretty is that? Like that's regular leopard, and then you have a glittery leopard. I think this is so cute. So these are glitter reflective. So what reflective HTV is pretty much is like if you're in the dark and you put a flash towards it, it's gonna reflect. Pretty self-explanatory. You know how in the stop sign, like it's dark but you kind of can see it reflect, and then also like a construction worker's vest. That's how it is, but these right here, these are glitter, but it's glitter reflective. So let's move on to the next ones. So next up we have these laser hollows, and these are also in different colors. So pretty much the color of the rainbow. These have like those little small circle holographics. And then we have these that are more of like a mosaic holographic, so it's like bigger designs in comparison to these. So these are also 10 by 12 and 12 sheets. So you have the rainbow, and then you have a gold and a silver in that like mosaic style. Next up, we have these color reflectives. So these are like the glitter when it comes to the reflective, but it's a whole different design because these are plain and it has like a little circle design going on, kind of like hexagons. So these are also different colors. Pretty much think of the rainbow and you're gonna get it. So here we have these, just different colors. But one thing I did notice about these, like all of these have like a pretty much plain adhesive side, you know, nothing really to it. But some of these right here, this color reflective HTV, this one has some texture to it. This one is plain. This one, can you see how it's just straight up has some design going on? I don't know what's happening there. And then here it's plain. There are some lines there. So the ones that have the design, I did notice that it has some like, I don't know if it's like the way it gets printed or what, so it can repeat. But yeah, it has the lines. You can't really tell in the front, which is the most important. Like the back doesn't even matter. But yeah, I just want to mention that it does have lines, I guess, where the design gets divided. So we have the texture going on in this one and this one as well. And plain, but see, you have the lines. Can you see it? I don't even know if you can see it. And then this one is like half plain, and then it has some texture wanting to go on right there. And then more texture, and then some like straight up line right there. I don't know, but I'm not exactly sure if that's gonna affect the way it presses. We shall see, but just wanted to mention that it does have some sort of texture going on in the back. So next up we have this reflective lizard. So once again, it's reflective, but it has a lizard design going on. So this one, once again, different colors. This is so cool. I never tried anything like this, so I'm interested to try and see how it looks, because it's straight up, it's supposed to be a lizard, but it gives me like snake skin vibes. So yeah, different colors. It has the holographic going on. So I really like this one, but on these, on some of them, you could see where the pattern starts again. Like the line is right there, right there. So if you were to do a design that's like right here, you'd probably be able to see that line right there, you know? So I wish that line wasn't there. I wish like the design was more bigger. So I will say it is a lizard print, and even though the design is divided, the design of the lizard print itself isn't divided. You know how sometimes like the design repeats, but like what's on this side repeats once the design starts again? With this one, it doesn't. It's just straight up like cohesive. Like the whole page is cohesive when it comes to the lizard print, but not like those lines, you know? So I don't know how it is when it comes to making these HTVs, but yeah, it has some lines, but the print itself is cohesive on all of them. Like some, like this one has the lines as well, but you can't really tell. So I guess it depends on the color, because the silver you can't tell. On this pink one, it does have some sort of like mistake right there, like a white line, but we'll see if you can tell when I go press. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. And oh look, the back of this has that texture, that like lizard texture. That's funny. But yeah, it's gonna be my first time playing around with these, so we shall see how it goes. And then we have one more group of HTV, which is this one right here, and this is a set of 4. What up? You can see me? So yeah, it's these 4. This is pretty much like a holographic opal, and it does have some glitter to it, but as you could see, it's pretty much see-through. It's like not opaque whatsoever. So depending on what fabric you're gonna use under, the color will look different. So keep that in mind when it comes to playing with these holographic HTVs. So yeah, this one comes with 4. We have a blue, an orange, like a light blue purple, and then like a purple pink. So yeah, these are all the HTVs that were sent to me. So I'm gonna be trying out each one in the same design, because that's what we're here to do. We're gonna try them all out. So let me just show you which ones I'm gonna go with. So here are the 6 HTVs that I'm going to use. Each of these is a different type of HTV. It may seem like it's a little busy, but for the sake of the video, we're gonna put them all into one design just to see how they all work out. So now let's just get into the design. This is a design that I'm going to use, and each of these colors represents a different HTV that I'm going to use. So now let's just go ahead and send these to cut. Now time to weed. First up on the list, we have the reflective glitter. So let's just go ahead and start. Oh, this is definitely super easy to weed. Look at that. Yeah, super easy. Okay, maybe not on the corners. For sure, super easy. And I did want to mention that this glitter is not the textured glitter. It's like the glitter that has like a film over it, so it's not textured. But yeah, super duper easy weeding for sure. Next up we have the reflective lizard. Wow, look at another easy one. Dude, look at it, just pulls out like nothing. Damn, look at that. Wow. Super duper easy. And usually when it comes to like HTV that has a lot of space, when it comes to pulling, you're kind of like forcing it out. But with this one, I felt like you just brought it out easy. Like definitely super duper easy. Look at how pretty is that? It's like a holographic lizard. Next on the list, we have the leopard. Dude, another easy one. Look how thin they are. I think that's what it is. They just peel out like nothing. Look at, damn. Not even with regular HTVs, it's this easy. Look at, wow. Let me just feel it. It does feel thin, but it doesn't feel like super thin for it to be peeling that easy, but super duper easy weeding for this one too. Next, we have the laser holographic. Okay, this one is a little harder. Can't even stab it in there. What the hell's going on? Okay, yeah, definitely not as easy as the other ones. This one for sure is much thicker than the other ones. But definitely not as easy, but not as hard. Oh my god. So it did weed easy, but I'm not sure if you can tell that a bit of the HTV stayed right there. There's like a line right there, which is not good because how am I gonna take it out? Because obviously if I leave it and I press it, that little bit of HTV is gonna go through, so no bueno. So this one for sure is the hardest to weed out of all of them. Even with other HTV brands, I don't think I've ever had to stab as much as I have with this one. Like, you really have to get in there with it. And then I don't like that it left some of the HTV behind. I don't know if it's just because it's a holographic or what, but I don't like that, because what if it goes through and you like don't see it at first and stuff, you know, and it goes onto your shirt or something. So keep that in mind when it comes to this holographic. Here's a close-up on what I was talking about. Can you see the tiny bit of hollow right there? I try to scratch it off. That's why it's kind of like textured, but there's some right there. And then we do have some more right there and right there. And then even if you try to like pick it off, I guess you just have to really get in there to get it off. So for this one, you just for sure have to look at it really closely and make sure you don't have any. Because since it does have that adhesive in the back, it's gonna transfer through when you go and press. So keep that in mind. Even right here, where is it? The S. That corner in the S, it has a little bit of a point because of some extra HTV that didn't get weeded. So I'm gonna have to look at this off camera really closely to make sure I didn't miss any of the spots, because I do not want it to get on my garment. Next up, we have the color reflective. This one is also fairly easy. Not as easy as the first few, but not hard. Okay, so it is easy to peel. Definitely easy for sure. Last but not least, we have the holographic opal. So this one you kind of have to stab it as well. It's not as easy. So this one gives me the same vibes as the other holographic one that I used, the silver one, except this one isn't leaving behind any of the HTV. So look. Definitely super easy. So overall, these were definitely easy to weed, especially the lizard, leopard, color reflective, and glitter. These were like super duper easy. Like, I was so surprised. Like, the way they just peeled right off like nothing, I was like, what is going on? Especially with these empty spaces. It was such a trip. I'm just so glad these were like super easy. But even though the holographic opal and the holographic ones were easy to weed for the most part, I feel like they kind of had the same vibe going on. Like this one, the opal, it was easy to weed, but I did struggle with the centers. Like, I really had to stab my weeder in there. But at least for the outside, I just pulled it and it came right off. So not bad at all. And then for the holographic one, this one I did struggle with it a little bit. As you saw, I had to really get in there to get it out. And when I finally did get it out, like, the outside of it was fine with pulling, but it was leaving behind stuff. It was leaving behind the hollow, so that's not really a good thing. So pay attention to this one. This one is definitely more delicate when it comes to the holographic in comparison to this one, because even though it's a holographic as well, it's more of an opal, but it did not leave any behind. But I'm glad to say that for the most part, these were fairly easy to weed, and I was so surprised. So I already went ahead and prepped my tote. So all of these HTVs have a temperature of 302 degrees Fahrenheit, except the laser holographic. That one has 320 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stick to 302 degrees just so I don't burn the others, you know, because they might be sensitive. So for this, all of them are gonna be pressed at 302 degrees. And some of them are cold peel and others are hot. So I'm gonna start off with the hot ones and I'm just gonna go from there. So first up on the list, we have the glitter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it. And this one has a pressing time of 10 seconds. But since I am layering, I'm only gonna do a few seconds. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so this one is a warm peel. So I hope it peels. Oh no, it needs more time. Okay, the top part's, nah. Let me go ahead and do like a few more seconds. Let me see. Okay, this side over here is. Okay, so these are, maybe just that corner isn't. So I'm gonna do it just very carefully. Yeah, I guess it was just that little corner, but it's gonna be pressed once I keep pressing, you know. So next up we have the reflective lizard. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it, and this one's gonna be for 10 seconds. So I think I'm gonna do a little bit more than a few seconds, just maybe it's gonna be like this one and I want to peel. So let's just go ahead. Whoa, damn. Did this one get stuck up there or what? So I do have, I forgot to mention, I do have a Teflon cover on my platen, so keep that in mind. You do want to use like a Teflon sheet or something just so it doesn't burn your platen. So let's go ahead and peel. Nope, this is supposed to be a warm peel. And I'm just gonna attempt to do it. Ay, ay, ay. I'm gonna have to make it work because I have other layers, you know? Something about this corner just doesn't want to press. Alright, there you go. So all the rest are cold peels, so I'm just gonna put them all at once and then completely press everything at the same time. So as you can see, I did cut this holographic one. One of the reasons was because it had that little extra hollow, but another reason is just so I could press both of these at the same time, you know? So don't just think that it was because of that extra hollow. There we have them all, and now I'm just gonna press them for the full 10 seconds. And I know the others had a press time of 10 seconds, but we're gonna go with it. They're gonna get a little bit more pressing just because of, you know, I have a lot going on. Do you see that? Oh my god. What? Dude, what happened? I guess you can't press the glitter without a cover sheet. What? Oh my god, it lifted it. Damn. I'm gonna do something. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. So I cut up the carrier sheet of the Never Things just to repress it because as you saw, it did want to lift and I don't want it to fully lift. So we're gonna try that. And repress it maybe for a few seconds just in case, because clearly it can't be on its own touching the platen even though the platen has a cover, you know. Let's just go ahead and press. See? Do you see that? None of it lifted. So these are hot peels, so I'm just gonna go ahead and peel them. Luckily, no peeling after that. Now let's see this one. Again, no peeling. So now let's just go ahead and let the others cool. So for this, I'm going to use my handy dandy cooling block to speed up the process. Now let's see if they peel, even though they're not like fully cool. Alright, we're good. That was easy. Pretty easy. Another one. Definitely not hard at all. These definitely stuck way better than these two the first time. Well, I did press them the full time, but you know what I mean. Let's do the holographic. Alright, no lifting. So it is a little harder. Okay, there you go. Now for the leopard. Okay, so this one for sure definitely feels like regular HTV when you peel it. Like just a solid. So there we have it. Now let's take a closer look at them. And here they are up close and personal. So for sure, out of all of them, the easiest one to peel was the leopard print right here. I just pulled it and it easily came off. Also, out of all of them, this one feels like it's the thinnest. Like you can barely feel it on the toe. Like you know something is there because it has a different feeling, but it's for sure the thinnest. And then also the color reflective ones, these are pretty thin as well, but these are more obvious in the feeling because it's kind of like sticky. Like you can definitely tell it's like there's something there because you run your fingers through it and it's as if like your fingers get stuck because it's kind of sticky, you know. It's like not a bad thing, but I feel like if you were to do like, let's say a big design, like you would straight up be able to feel it like in your shirt. So for this type, I would say kind of keep your designs small or have like something like this going on where it's not a big block of like the HTV by itself, you know, like a big old circle or something. So keep that in mind when it comes to this one. But besides that, this one also peeled fairly easily as well. And also the opal for sure peeled off easily as well. I don't know if it had to do because it got pressed the full amount, but these two for sure peeled easily. So for the opal, as you could tell, my color didn't really shift or like change color. Like remember I told you like it changes its color depending on the base that you use. And this one isn't really a big shift than white, so there's not big of a difference, but keep that in mind when it comes to this type of color. And also this one is meant to be a holographic glitter opal, and it is a holographic opal, but when it comes to the glitter, you can't even see it. Like if you're looking at it from here, like you can't even tell. You're gonna have to like really get in there to actually see like the little glitters going on. It's definitely not a glitter like this one where you can straight up tell that it's glitter. This one is way more faint and you can barely even tell. And then this other holographic, you could straight up tell it's a holographic. It has like those big chunks of mosaics. So this one, it was a little harder to peel, but usually when it comes to fancier HTVs like this, you kind of have to put more pressure to it in comparison to these type of HTVs. So yeah, even though it was a little harder to peel, like I had to give it more strength, it was so easy because nothing peeled off with it. So that's good. And then the reflective lizard, this one I actually just realized that the reflective part is is actually what's behind the lizard print. So it's not the actual lizard print itself. So the lizard print itself is the one that's holographic. You see like the pink and purple shift, and then the background of it is what's reflective. It's kind of like a silvery holographic, you know, so that's the one that reflects. But yeah, this one, you know how I showed you earlier that it had like the lines on the HTV where it like wanted to repeat the pattern of it? So this one, if you look up close, I'm not sure if you could tell, but the line, you can see like right there. So keep that in mind if you're going to use like a bigger design, that you might have a line if you don't like do your placement of your HTV when it comes to your cutting, you know. So be mindful of that. You don't want that cut line to show. I wish it wasn't there, but like for this, you can't even tell unless you're like really in there. No one's even going to be looking that close, but just throwing it out there that the lines may show. And then this one, it was a little hard to peel. As you saw, these right here didn't want to come off, and I have no idea if it has to do because I didn't press the full amount at first. And also it might not even be a warm peel, it might be a cold peel, but the instructions for this one did say it was a warm peel, so that's what I went with. But maybe for this type of HTV, you don't do the tack method where you just press it for a few seconds and then peel. Maybe this type of HTV is the one that just you need its full amount, you know, for it to work. But yeah, this one you saw me struggling a little bit, but hey, it peeled off, and everything that did peel off was easy, and it does feel like it's on there. Like definitely out of all of them, I feel like this one seems like the one that's actually sitting on top of the garment, you know. Usually with some HTV, especially the thin ones, it seems like it becomes a part of the garment, but this one, it just seems like it's laying on top. It didn't really like blend with the fabric, you know, maybe because it's a little thicker. But yeah, this one just seems to be more like out there and like 3D in comparison to the rest. And then even the glitter, it does have more of like a thicker consistency than the rest, but it doesn't feel as 3D as this one right here. So I'm wondering if this is even gonna survive the wash. We'll see, because I'm gonna do a wash test. So the glitter one, as you saw, it was a warm peel, but it didn't want to come off. So I'm thinking maybe this one is a cold peel as well, or you can't just do the tack method when it comes to this type of glitter. But looking at this one very closely, I did realize that this is a very sensitive HTV, because as you saw, I went ahead and put the carrier sheet on once again to press it, but I guess I didn't put it where the word is. And now if you look really closely, you probably can't even tell on camera because you need to really be looking at it, but it has like the lines of the never. You know how when you peel it off, it still has the lines of whatever you cut out. So I put the never over it, and it wasn't in the exact same spot. So in whatever position it was, it pressed down. I guess the press had too much pressure and it like went through. So you can kind of see like the end going on, or like each letter going on within the HTV. So this one is for sure more sensitive, because you could also see some of the marks of the different carrier sheets from all these other ones. You know how this one had a carrier sheet that might have like gone to this one, or this one had the carrier sheet. So whatever got pressed, you could see with the HTV. So this glitter one for sure is very pressure sensitive. So keep that in mind. I would say for this glitter one, keep it to the end. Try not to do different layers with this one because it's very sensitive. And make sure that whatever you use on this one, let's say you want to do different types, that there's a carrier sheet over it, because as you saw, I did want to get stuck on my Teflon cover, so be mindful of that. I almost forgot to show you the reflect effect on some of these. So the ones that are reflective are the glitter, the color reflective, and then the lizard. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the lights off, and I'm gonna have the flashlight of my phone, and we're gonna see if the camera picks up the reflection. So let's do it. You probably can't even tell, so you can straight up tell on the lizard, kinda. I know it's not catching it on camera, but the glitter is super pretty with the light hitting it. It just has like a nice reflection. Dude, even this, the regular holographic has a nice like shift to it, but on camera for sure the lizard is popping up. Let's try this one, the color reflective. You can't even tell. Nah, you can't tell, but in person you can definitely tell, and especially if you're far away and then you're hitting like a flashlight to it, that's when you can tell. I think the flashlight is too close, so let's see. Far. Dude, look, you could even see the reflection. Oh my god. Not the reflection, the holographic. How sick is that? Yeah, you can't tell the reflection on the color reflective or really the glitters. Oh look, do you see the glitter? Is that even the reflection? I can't even tell. My monitor is like so little. But yeah, just know that it does reflect. So now that we've discussed these a little bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and let this sit for 24 hours, and then I'm gonna turn it inside out, throw it into the wash, and then we're gonna come back to see if it survived. Here it is after it's been washed and dried. I did throw it into the dryer for about a minute and then let it air dry. But as you can see, it's like super wrinkly. Something about these canvas totes that just shrink. And I don't know if I'm tripping or what, but this does seem to be smaller, because look at the HTV, it's just all wrinkly. All of them are like if they shrunk. So to test that theory, I have another tote here. And look, sure enough, it did shrink. Do you see that? What a difference. So it's like half an inch on the side, and then look, a big old chunk on the top. Like, I can't believe that happened. So I think because of the shrinking, it made the HTV just straight up fold even more because none of them are straight at all. And the one that you could tell really suffered is this leopard one right here. It just seemed like it's like crumpling, it's like folding everywhere. So this one for sure suffered because of the shrinking. But besides the whole folding and shrinking and all of that, I feel like they all pretty much survived the wash because there's really no lifting with any of them. There is a bunch of folding, but that sometimes happens when you wash clothes with HTV, you know, but this one just straight up shrunk. But other than that, everything still seems to be on there. So the only things that I feel like are lifting are the parts that are like folded, but that tends to happen because it becomes like spiky, you know? So besides the fact that they're super folded and they shrunk, I feel like they pretty much survived the wash test. So 2 thumbs up for that. And here it is once again. As you saw, it shrunk on me. I don't know what it is about these canvas tote bags that just shrink when you wash them. Like especially these flimsy ones, they just shrink and I have no idea why. But even though they shrunk on me, they all pretty much survived the wash because look, there's no peeling, which is a good thing. The only one that kind of suffered because of the shrinkage would have to be the leopard one right here. I guess it was like, let's say the image was like this and it shrunk, so you can just see that it kind of like folded on its own. You saw like when I showed it up close. But yeah, it shrunk because of the shrinking of the toe. But besides that, none of them suffered because they're still on the shirt. There's really no peeling. So that's a good thing. All you see is just a folding. You know, that tends to happen when it comes to washing something with HTV. Depending on how your like machine is and how it like folds and stuff, sometimes you're gonna find folds. But besides that, luckily it survived the wash. And even though all of these did survive the wash, I did want to talk about some pros and cons for each. So starting off with the reflective glitter. This one, as you saw, it weeded very easily, so thank God for that, because usually fancier HTVs tend to be a little bit harder to weed, and this one was super easy, especially on those like empty spots. You just pulled it and it just completely came out. It wasn't struggling, didn't have to pull hard or anything. So I really liked how easily it weeded. But as you saw, I did struggle with this one when it came to peeling after pressing. I don't know if this one is meant to be a cold peel or what, but I did a warm peel, and as you saw, I only pressed this a little bit since I was layering. So maybe for these HTVs, you actually do need to press for their full time, because I don't know if it didn't peel because there wasn't enough press time or because it needed to be a cold peel. I have no idea, but luckily I got it to work and it did press. But as you saw, this one is very, very sensitive. Once I went in with the second layer and that one didn't have the carrier sheet anymore, it wanted to come up with the platen itself, like the platen cover. So I feel like if it wouldn't have been for the cover being on there and it would have just been a Teflon sheet and I would have pulled it off, I feel like maybe it would have stuck on it even more. I don't know, but this one for sure is very, very sensitive when it comes to that. So I will say don't layer with this one, and if you're gonna layer, make sure it's last. So for sure you don't want anything overlapping this one, because anything that is pressed over it, you're gonna see it. So be mindful of that. But besides that, this one is a very pretty color. I like the glitter, especially in the night when you're like hitting that flash to it. The glitter just is super shiny. So I really, really like the effect of this one. And now on to another reflective, which is the lizard right here. This one is a super pretty print. I actually really, really like it. I love how it has like holographic, but it's also reflective. I just really like those two combinations. It has a really nice effect in the night, like when you hit the flash to it, it's super pretty. It weeded easily as well. The peeling was 50-50 because I still have to figure it out if it's like a cold peel or a hot peel, because as you saw, I only pressed it for a little bit since I was layering. So maybe that one, as well as the glitter, needs their full amount of press, so keep that in mind. But the downfall for this one, I will have to say, even though I love the print, you do have to be careful because this is a print and you can see the lines on the print. So I wish those print lines, like if it was gonna repeat, I wish they were like bigger. That way you can get away with doing a design where you don't see the line. So I feel like if it was like a big design where there's no like little cuts going on, you're gonna straight up see that line down the middle. So you're gonna have to be careful when it comes to cutting this type of HTV and figure out your placement where you make sure that you don't have that line disrupting your design, you know? Like that's something that I'm picky about, but there's some people out there that might not even give a damn that it has that line going on, you know? But for me, someone who's very picky, I do not want that line showing there. So even though most of it you can't tell, like line isn't anywhere, there is a line in this one right here, which is, it goes this way. You probably can't even see. It's just a little faint line, but you know, Miss Picky over here notices the little things. So yeah, just keep that in mind when it comes to these type of prints. So next up, we have the leopard one. For sure, out of all of them, the leopard one was the one that weeded the easiest. It was so smooth like butter. I was so surprised. I was like, wow, this is super duper fast. So I really like how fast this leopard one was. It peeled very easily as well. So this one for sure was the easiest to work with out of all of them. And look at that. The prints on these were just so pretty. So overall, I'm super impressed with the leopard one right here. And next up, we have the laser holographic, which is this one right here. So with this one, it's like 50-50 for me. The The whole print, like the holographic style, is like super nice. It's very out there, especially in the night. Hitting that flash with it, you can just see the holographic going on, even though it wasn't a reflective. So I really like that. So besides the fact that this one is a pretty design, it was very hard to work with. Like this one was the hardest one to weed out of all of them. I had to really stab it in there to like get it to weed. And after weeding everything, as you saw, I left behind some HTV, which is a struggle because you don't want to go and press it and then have some HTV where it's not supposed to be, you know? So that definitely threw me off a little bit with this HTV. I'm not exactly sure if the hollows are going to be like that, but I'm still going to want to play around with this one and see if that does it again, because I know for a fact that it wasn't my cut settings, because as you saw where I peeled it and the HTV stayed, there was no cut around there. It was an empty space where everything had to be peeled off. So this one wasn't a disappointment, but it still gave me a little bit of trouble. It wasn't super hard to peel. It wasn't super easy either. I think it's just like normal fancy HTV peeling. Like you kind of have to take your time, especially when it comes to a cold peel. So no struggles when it came to that. Just the whole like weeding situation, you know? And next up we have the color reflective, which is this one right here. So out of all the reflectives, I feel like this one was the most subtle. It wasn't as reflective as the rest. You just kind of had to hit your flashlight at a certain angle. But even though it wasn't as intense, it was still subtle, but you could still see the reflection, you know? This one was another one that was very easy to weed. No problems with that. Very easy to peel. The only thing I would say the downside to this one would have to be the way it feels. It feels like very sticky, and you can just straight up feel that there's something on your shirt, you know? So if you were to have a big design, you would just be able to feel it, and you would like, it would just be kind of uncomfortable. So keep that in mind when it comes to this one. Like it's very pretty, no issues with that. It's just the feeling that's kind of like not what I'm used to, because I'm used to these HTVs where you can barely feel that there's anything there. But if you don't care about that, then this one will be fine for you, especially on something that you really need to be reflective, you know? And last but not least, we have the glitter holographic opal. This one wasn't super hard to weed, but it wasn't super fast either. Like the leopard right here, it was just like normal, like very decent. No issues there, just it wasn't the fastest. It peeled very easily. It has a nice opal effect to it. But even though it's a glitter, you can barely even see the glitter. Like you just have to really like get in there to see it. It's not like this one where you could straight up tell that it's glitter, you know? You kind of have to be like, it's a glitter, you know? But besides that, still a very pretty color, and I like how it shifts with the way it hits the light. So I really like the color on this one. So yeah, overall, those are my thoughts on the Stardustworkx HTV. Definitely not disappointed because there was no fails here. Look, there's HTV still intact, so that's a good thing. So definitely check these out if you're interested. They are sold on Amazon, so I'll have them linked down below. I'm definitely going to continue to play around with these because I always love discovering new HTV brands. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed my review. Don't forget to leave me your thoughts in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and if you're curious, I'm not a soccer person, but I'm wearing this to represent Mexico in the World Cup. So yeah, so thank you guys once again, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.